Chelsea. How are you doing?
I am good, Tamika. How are you?
I'm excited to be talking to you. I'm just smiling.
Well, me too. I'm just smiling too.
And I just love the calm in your voice. Like, it's just like, Tamika, take it down a notch. You're too excited. She's
No, it's okay. Be excited. Be excited.
Oh.
It's okay. I'm excited too. It's being concealed.
So the first time I actually heard you sing, I think it was 2017 when you did the TBN with Anthony Evans. That's where I met you for the first time.
Wow. Okay.
And I was like, yo, she's talented.
Thank you so much.
And I have followed you, and if I'm not mistaken, your sister Candy for the longest, because I like her vocals.
She's amazing.
So how are you doing? How have you been coping during this pandemic and everything that is going on?
Honestly, taking it one day at a time. Overall, everything is well. I don't have any legitimate complaints. You know what I mean? Like, God has sustained my family and I. He's taking care of us. We, have what we need, some of the things that we want. So in that regard, I cannot complain. But if we're being honest here, there have been days in this whole process where it just got emotionally rough. I'm accustomed to being out and about and traveling every week and, working, and I enjoy what I do. So I enjoy working. So that, it was a tough pill to swallow at first. Some days were better than others. Some days I would just wake up like, is this seriously happening? I can't go anywhere. I can't see anybody. Like, what do you mean? But overall, once I got out of that part of it, I just really started to accept it as a period that God basically said, okay, look, I'm going to press pause on the whole wide world to give you a chance to catch up and get your stuff together. Whatever that means for you, whatever that looks like for you. For me, at the time that the world shut down, I was at a point of almost exhaustion from work, super grateful, but it had started wearing on my body. You know what I mean? Just constantly on the go, not getting any rest, sleeping on planes a couple of hours, and then just expected to produce. It just started to weigh on me. So in essence, the world shutting down happened at the most perfect time for me because I needed a break that I know I wouldn't have gotten. You know what I mean? I would have just kept going until my body quit and said, okay, you won't give me a break. I'm going to take a break on my own. So I'm glad that did not happen. So in that regard, I'm grateful for this time that God has given us to just recalibrate, and there's still a lot going on and, the world is still crazy, but, here we are.
I love that, though. I love that you took the time to rest, because I know, during the pandemic, it's still there, but at the earlier stages, people were saying different things. Oh, you need to come out with 10, 25 degrees, come out 10 times smart. I'm like, it depends on who the person is. Can we just put it at that ground? It depends on who it was.
Yeah, it's definitely circumstantial, because for some people, this could have been a period that they needed to heal or recover or just do self-work or whatever, or do nothing. We can't assume that everybody has been living their lives doing nothing, so this was the time for them to try to do everything. I just feel like whatever you find yourself being gravitated to, pushed away from in this season, just take note and make adjustments where necessary. And everybody should just be focused on doing what's necessary for their individual journeys during this tough time, and not judge people too harshly or have extreme, unrealistic expectations of anybody else, because everybody's handling this period differently,
That is true. Hey, listen. And you have been doing, first of all, you look fabulous. You're that.
Thank you. The funny thing is typically I like to put on makeup, but I'm having an issue with my eyes, so I can't wear contacts right now. So my glasses, I was like, makeup, hopefully she'll be okay. I was like, I'll put on a lip.
Oh, you look.
I'll put on a lip,
No,
so thank you.
I advocate. I'm a very big advocate on good skincare. So
Thank you. I believe in good skincare. Yes.
see,
I do. I do. Because if you have good skin, makeup is optional. Period. Period. Look at you, baby. You glowing. Look at that brown skin. Yes, girl. I love it.
oh, listen. Well, like I said initially, you are one of my favorite vocalists.
Wow.
Period. Point blank. Full stop. There is no question. But you are so humble, and I love that about you. Your spirit is just beautiful. And it's not just you. You have a sister that you're both in the same industry. How do you're not in a group. How do you manage to be in the same industry, still loving each other, not be competitive, but still kind of balance everything out at the end of the day?
You know, the interesting thing is we grew up singing together. So her start was my start. We had the same start, God's Property, Kirk Franklin. That's how we both got our professional starts. We both started singing with my mother, who was a professional recording artist. So that's how we got our initial start into the industry. But on a professional level, aside from family, it started with God's Property. Now, the interesting thing about this whole thing is, okay, so my sister sings and our mom sings. So I grew up in a singing household, okay? It was tough for me because I knew that I didn't, well, let me not say I knew that I didn't, but I felt like I could not sing like them. You know what I mean? Like they were these big powerhouse vocalists. And at the time growing up, I was very shy and reclusive to a degree. Like, I don't want you to see me. Like, I can sing in a group and be amongst people, but I don't want to be singled out. Don't ask for nothing from me, specifically from by myself. Like, no, I wasn't interested. So my sister was much more out than I was, like my mother. So I dealt with insecurities on my own, not because of something she did or my mom did. You know, I at times listened to voices I shouldn't have listened to. I allowed different opinions and thoughts to get into my head and enter my psyche and affect my confidence. I would hear people say different things about me in the city. I can't sing. Peaches can't sing like her sister, yada, yada, yada. So it started to wear on me. And as the years went on, you know, it just kind of, it was like a silent mountain of fear that started to build in me. And mind you, at the time, I wouldn't allow it to stop me from doing what we were doing to a certain degree, but there was a block, like, I'm not going beyond this point. You know, I won't let you in beyond this point, because anything beyond this is going to require me to be vulnerable to a place I'm not willing to be yet. You know, so the beautiful thing is, on one side, I've been able to work with my sister for many years and many different projects. Because mind you, we went from God's Property. She started working with Kirk Franklin and A New Nation a lot more closely than I did after that point. But we got back together with Myron Butler and Levi. We've worked on numerous of records together. Marvin Sapp's records we've done together. Tamela Mann's records we've done together. Fred Hammond's records we've done together. And it's always a good time when I get to work with my sister. Because first of all, when we sing together, you cannot tell us apart. So it's a really strange thing. When there's a West girl on a record, you are going to be able to tell. And God forbid, if there are two West girls on a record, then that's kind of like, I'm so sorry, but that's all it's going to sound like. So I enjoy working with my sister. She is a joy to work with and to be around. I've learned and grown so much by being able to watch her closely, but I would not be, I would be doing a disservice to anybody watching this if I wasn't honest enough to say that I still did deal with my own confidence issues, you know, even growing up, because they were so amazing. And it took a very long time for me to get to a place of comfort with the gift that God gave me, to where I can move with no more fear. I can move and offer my gifts to whoever's asking for them without feeling the pressure of trying to impress anybody or, you know, trying to live up to anybody else's expectations. I've just gotten to a place like, look, this is me. and either you can, hate it or love it, but it's, I can only give you what I got. And so here we are.
I love that. How do you go from, what was that like pivotal moment for you to transition into be like, I am me, this is me, love me, accept me, it doesn't matter, I love me, I'm good, I know my abilities, I know my gifts, I know I'm amazing, because I'm glad that you got to that point. Because I want to hear you.
Thank you. Honestly, I had to heal. It was like a very, I didn't see it coming. And I don't think people talk about healing processes enough. And we assume that they're easy, and we assume that they're quick, or, whatever. It's just a matter of acknowledgement. Oh, I'm healed, I can move on. But sometimes, more times than not, healing processes are ugly. When you're trying to get to the bottom of your junk, and when you're trying to clear out your emotional psyche and mental holding places that have been filled for so long with negative thoughts and negative feelings and emotions from experiences, or things that we make up on our own, just so many things that we can carry around and be hurtful, and you don't realize how detrimental these things are to many different areas and aspects of your life. And for me, when it came to my gift, because there were so many things I hadn't healed from, I wasn't able to operate in my gift as freely as I needed to. You know what I mean? So when I was able to get to the bottom of a lot of the issues that I had, and had been trying to cover up for a really long time, it's almost as if I came out of that experience a new person. Like I felt new. It was like, it was strange when I was in it. I didn't understand what was happening to me. I was super emotional. And this was a process that lasted for me for weeks. And this particular process, because mind you, every season of healing you go through is preparing you for whatever's to come. So that period of healing I had to go through was necessary for the last 4 years of my life. It's been necessary for the things that I've experienced up until this point. But like I said, I came out a new person. I just started seeing things differently. I started feeling a different way about myself. It was almost like I went to bed one day questioning everything about myself, and I woke up the next day fully confident in who God made me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because once you become aware of who it is that God made you and the gifts that he's given you, it's very if I could imagine God's feelings when we doubt our gifts and we doubt our abilities, I can only imagine him feeling like, excuse me? Are you telling me that what I gave you is not enough? As if I don't know what I'm doing, as if I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's like a slap in God's face when we sleep on ourselves, so to speak, when we allow opinions and thoughts and comparison even to make us feel like what we have isn't enough or it's not good enough. Yeah, God, I don't believe God appreciates that very much. So for nothing else, I'm glad that I can stop hurting his feelings. You know what I mean?
I love that.
For a long time, I'm sure I would hurt God's feelings by feeling like what he gave me wasn't good enough.
I hear that. It is true, because a lot of times we listen to everybody else, but I put it in a way of, it's kind of like getting a new device, and rather than reading the manual, you go and read a different brand that has nothing to do with the item that you have and try to build it and fix it, and it just doesn't work. When the thing is, you just need to go to the actual manual and it'll help you to figure out how to put the parts together. So I love that. And a lot of times, if we allow people to get out of our heads and we really just have a conversation with God, we'll be so better off in life. So,
yeah, free yourself. You got to free yourself.
Okay, so in music, what does music do for you? How does it make you feel? What does music do for you?
Music does so many things for me. Okay? Music can reshape my day. You know what I mean? Like I said, in the beginning of quarantine, when it was a little hard for me, one day it was a beautiful day. At the beginning of quarantine, it rained a lot here in LA. It was gray, it rained a lot, which also affected my mood because I'm like, not only am I stuck, it's gray, it's raining, it's just sad time. But one day it was a beautiful day, and I had to go to the grocery store or something. And a lot of times I keep my my Apple Music playlist on shuffle. Like I just got so much music, and sometimes I don't know what I want to listen to specifically, so I'll just let shuffle figure it out. And if I don't want to hear it, I'll skip it. Well, this particular, my music was on shuffle, and Destiny's Child, Happy Face came on.
Ooh.
And I went to skip it, and I did not, and I let it play. And when I tell you, it changed my entire mood because the song is so bright, and even the lyrics of the song really spoke to what I was feeling in that moment. You know, I think she said something like, woke up and realized this was not so bad after all. Looked at it through a child's eyes, and I saw this beautiful thing that you never think about, like the ocean, sunlight, moon, and clouds. It's amazing how we don't appreciate our blessings, you know? And I'm just like, I'm alive, I'm well, my family's healthy, we have what we need. I have a roof over my head. I'm headed to the grocery store to get whatever groceries we want, you know, and I'm sitting up here sulking because I can't live my life the way I'm accustomed to live my life, the way I'm accustomed to living my life. And I just had to check myself in that moment, like, girl, you don't have no reason to be sad. Put on a happy face. I woke up this morning, the sunshine is shining. I put on my happy face. Yeah, I'm living, I'm able, I'm breathing, I'm grateful to put on my happy, you know what I mean? So that song ministered to me. It really did. And it got me out of a funk, out of an ugly, ugly funk. So music is healing. Music is, you know, it gives reminders of what's important. It can lift your mood. It can meet you where you are. You know, sometimes, you know, when this race thing gets a little tough for me and I get a little angry, I know what music to listen to that feeds that. You know what I mean? I'm a 8-ball and MJG kind of girl when I get mad, you know? So, you know, music, you could just find whatever you need to fit whatever mood. I love jazz when I just want to relax and just breathe. And I'm going to put me on some jazz standards and just chill and relax, you know. So, you know, music is just everything. I don't know what I would do without music.
Listen, I hear that. I hear it, and I hear it. Music is like, I don't know how to explain it either. Music, it just has the ability to drastically make you feel better. And take you out of a mood, and especially when you can listen to people that have great voices, because, you know, we need to have, you know, great music.
That's right.
So you said with your playlist, like, what is your most played song on your playlist right now?
Right now, I am in love with John Legend's new record. I think it's called Bigger. Is the record called Bigger? Let me look to just be for sure. I think it's called Bigger. Bigger Love.
Oh, yes.
His new record is called Bigger Love, and I am in love with it. My favorite song on that record right now is When You Move, I Move, featuring Janet Jackson. Mm-hmm. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous love song. I mean, he has several gorgeous love songs on this record. But that song is just a beautiful, beautiful love song. So I listen to a lot of that. I am a Lucky Day fan. I've had the pleasure of working with him, but I'm also a fan, so I listen to him a lot. So many people. Right now, I'm kind of stuck on Bigger Love, though, because it's so good.
Listen, ain't nothing wrong with that. You find a song you like, stick with it.
That's right.
Enjoy it for the moment.
If you could find a whole record that you love and you could just press play and let it play for an hour and a half, yeah, that's even better.
And sometimes it's hard to find a whole record from one person you like. So
super hard. Super hard. What I can say, John Legend's Bigger Love you can listen to from top to bottom. Lucky Day's records you can listen to from top to bottom. He's just good. He's just the boy's good. I don't know. He's good.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna actually go listen to it to see what it sounds
you
like.
should. Absolutely. You should.
Yeah. I get to add some more. What is like a day, like a prep day for you look like? Say, how do you go about selecting what artists you want to work with, what songs you think works best for you? How does that selection process go for you?
In what regard? As far as me working with them or us working together?
Both.
Okay, well, in terms of me working for them, typically, I rarely ever deal with the artist directly. Either a manager, a musical director, or someone like that will reach out and inquire if I'm available for whatever's needed. And in most cases, whoever the art, honestly, I don't ask a lot of questions. This is probably a very strange thing about me. I don't ask a lot of questions. When people call me for jobs, if they don't tell me who the artist is right up front, I don't ask. Because for me, it's not important. I'm going to do a job, so regardless of who it is, I got to do what I would do with anybody, and that's get it done.
I love that.
A lot of times I don't know who I'm going to work with before I get there. And times I do know, nothing changes because, again, my approach to every work situation is going to be the same regardless. So that's that. On the other hand, if I could be honest, I haven't had a lot of opportunities to work with other artists for myself yet, as I am newly embarking upon the whole territory of being an artist. You know what I mean? That part of my career has not been super established yet. So that's what I'm working on, establishing that, so that when the time comes to have a guest feature, the people be like, okay. Okay, I'm on it, So we'll have to come back and revisit this conversation. So, when that time comes, I'll have more info to tell you how that works.
Appreciate that.
No problem.
Does anybody to tell you when you get excited, you sound like Beyonce? So good. Like I keep hearing it. I was like,
the funny thing is I appreciate you saying when I get excited. I've had people tell me I just sound like her, period. And of course, I don't hear it. I know that I'm Southern, and I know that I have a Southern accent like my dear sister Beyonce. I just always think it's funny when anybody compares anything about me to her, because I just feel like she's so off limits compared to, it's just like, no. So I've even, strangely enough, I've had people tell me that I look like her sometimes. And I'll be like, don't give me that. Don't tell me that. I don't want to hear that. No. I don't need that kind of pressure in my life. Just no, I don't need it. Beyonce is the queen. I give utmost respect and honor to that woman for what she's contributed to this industry, to our culture. I love and respect her. So honestly, it's a huge compliment that makes me blush anytime a person compares anything about me to her, because I think that she's incredible. But I have heard that before. So.
Yeah, because I'm like, every time, because I notice every time you get a sound, it's like, wait a minute, who am I talking to? Can I just like, this what it will sound like if I talk to her? I was like, all right, cool.
You know what? This could be the practice, the Beyonce practice, So should there be a dream of yours to get to, interview her one day, then this can be your practice.
Yeah. We're going to pray, and then when it happens, we're going to come back to this interview and say, Chelsea, remember when we were talking about it?
Girl, manifestation is real. You can do what you want to do. Did you know that?
Yep.
Did you know that anything that you wanted to do, if you believe that you can do it, you can do it?
I believe that. I'm talking to you, so yeah.
And listen, it's just me. So I believe with you too, girl. If you want Beyonce, you can have her. You can sit across from her. And I even believe that when the time comes that you'll be able to interview her in person.
Listen, I feel like how you felt just now when I said your voice sounded like her. Sound I'm like, ooh.
Honey, we can manifest that for you. We sure are.
Oh, well, I accept the manifestations. Yes.
Yeah.
Going back before I throw you off by telling you what I thought and believe with all my heart. Have you ever walked into one of the sessions where you didn't know who the artist was and it turned out to be somebody that, like, oh my gosh. I mean, you may not have said it out loud or anything like that, but in your heart, it kind of like skipped a beat, like, because you have done and sang with people like Janet, Jennifer. I mean, have you had the moment?
Oh, it's hard to have the moments when you're living it, and when you're in the middle of a thing. I found when I was working with Janet, I found myself looking at her sometimes like, I'm really looking at Janet Jackson with my own two eyes. You know what I mean? Like, she knows my name. She knows that I exist. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be sitting there and that's what I would be thinking. Of course, I can't, show it on the outside. But I don't know if that's something I would ever get used to, so many times I found myself like, how did I get here? Like, honestly, I would be having conversations with God, like, what am I doing here? How did I get here? You know what I mean? Because according to how this started for me, I should have never gotten to this place. You know what I mean? With so many things I've had to overcome, be it within myself or otherwise, it's just amazing that God has kept his promises to me. Like, wow. It's insane. I don't know.
Listen, God continues to surprise us.
He does. There was one instance where a work situation that I went into where I did not know who the artist was, and I thought it was for one performance. And I got to the rehearsal, and at the rehearsals when I realized who the artist was. And I was just like, okay. And we ended up working with that artist for almost a year and a half. Every week, every day. And that was Kanye West. So just like, all right, you know what I'm saying? See, no.
What is that? I don't even know how to ask. What is that like to be? Because I know it's Sunday service and you get to minister, and I mean, it's just a group of talents, a bunch of talented people. Like, regular choirs, you have at least 2 people that can't hit a note. You have at least 5 people that, there's nothing going on. Like, you probably can't put the mic over there because, they just making up numbers.
They're not really singing.
Yeah, like for me in the choir, I'm just the number keeper. I have no purpose in the choir. But it's like, with that, it's like a group of talented. Like, I don't know how else to explain that or say that because you're in it. What is that mood or that moment or your headspace like?
It was unlike anything I'd seen before. Having come from being a part of the top selling gospel artist or gospel choir of all time, I've always been around talented people. That's God has blessed my life that way. I've always been around incredibly talented people. But this choir, like the talent was like on a whole nother level. Because mind you, everybody was or are professional singers. So they do this for a living. It's not a hobby. It's not just, since I go to this church, I'm going to join the choir to give me something to do so I could be active in this ministry. It's like, no. You have to be a professional. What is your resume? So you get these types of people together, you would assume that there would be a lot of egos and a lot of pride. But what I can say, the most beautiful thing about the Sunday service experience is no matter what anybody's resume was prior to walking in that room, once you come in that room, none of that matters. Mm-hmm. Like, we all had we were all on one accord to get it done with the right spirit. And it was very beautiful to watch. It was beautiful to be a part of. Um, it's crazy. I don't know.
Yeah. I swear that, like, in my head, sometimes I just imagine everybody's sleeping and harmonizing. You guys are dead sleeping, and there's harmony in this, like the snoring.
Singing. A lot of singing on the planes, on the trains, on automobiles, on buses, walking down the street in restaurants. Everybody's singing. And it's like, oh my gosh.
There is nothing like being able to do what you love with people that truly understand the gifts and like, I could listen on your behalf. I'm excited.
Thank you.
I can only imagine how you feel.
It's beautiful. Every situation, like I said, no matter who the artist is or who I'm working with, I am just grateful to have another opportunity to do what I love to do, and another opportunity to learn and to grow. You know, anytime I work with people, I'm absorbing, and taking in whatever I can from everybody around me, because that's how you grow and evolve. Like, I don't ever want to be in a situation where I'm considered the best. No. I like being the least, to give me somewhere to grow up to. I like being around people who are better than me, or that I, believe or presume to be better than me, because it keeps me sharp. It keeps me looking to a place to grow to, Like, I don't feel like anybody should ever feel like they've made it. Like, made it to where? Made it to what? I made it to a place for this level, But if I want to go up, I'm going to have to start low and grow up to the next place I'm trying to go to.
That's a great way to stay humble. I like that. Based on that, if you had to give your maybe 10-year-old self some advice, what would you tell Chelsea? What would you tell her?
I would tell her that everything that she needs to succeed on her journey, she has it already. I would tell her she has it already. I would tell her that she does not need validation from anybody. That God giving you the gift is all the validation that you need to be confident and secure in your own journey, in your giftings and your abilities, and just trust that God got you. God's got you. I would tell her, no, if you don't listen to anything else I say, just trust and believe that God has got you. Because when I was 10, when I was 16, 18, like, the things that I've done and have accomplished thus far seemed so far-fetched. Seemed so far-fetched. And I remember, throughout my life, I would get prophetic words like, you're going to make it if you don't quit. I mean, that's kind of vague, but, okay, whatever, or that God wants to do this and God wants to do that. And at the time, it seemed like, yeah, okay, because all I knew was what I saw. All I knew is what I was living at the time, which was not reflective of the words I was hearing at all. But when I look back on my life and I see how every moment worked together for the next thing. And I have no choice else at this point but to trust. That's why I would tell 10-year-old me to just trust that God got you. Trust your process. Trust that He has you, and you have everything that you need. You have everything you need already inside of you. So get to the bottom of you so you can access and get to the well of richness that is all the gifts and the talents and the dreams and the visions. Like, all of those things, they're in us. But sometimes we got to push past pain and hurt and disappointment and heartache and heartbreak to get to it.
And the thing is, even though you would say that to 10-year-old you, so many adults need to hear that right now in their current situation, because, they feel how they feel. They're going through what they're going through. And it is such a timely advice, I think, especially in the climate that we're in, both pertaining to the pandemic, both pertaining to Black Lives Matter. I think it's so important. And it's a great way for us to now take a stance for who we are.
Yes.
as adults, to set the example for the generations to come. I think that is like beautiful advice.
Thank you.
They're smiling at you. Who is your dream collab? Like your dream collaboration?
John Legend.
Ooh, I can hear that.
He's my dream collaboration. It's so funny. Because there have been a couple of times within the past couple of years where he's had auditions for BGVs. And as much as I love him, I almost don't want to work with him in that capacity. Like, nope, I'll wait. I'll wait, because I want to. That is a dream collaboration. Like, yeah, should that ever happen, come find me under somebody's bed or in a closet somewhere, balled up, rocking and crying, in complete and utter disbelief, because whoa. I just love him. I love him. I love his vocal flexibility, though he has a definite sound. You know that it's him. I just love that throughout the very extremely changing sounds of the industry for what's hot and what's popping at the moment. No matter what's hot and popping, he's always able to release music that's relevant. It's true to who he is and his artistry, but it's still relevant to the times, and I respect that. I love his vocal approach. His tone reminds me a lot of Myron Butler's. But his approach is still, I'm a classic girl at heart. So I love the music from the 40s and the 50s. So his style reminds me a lot of the old school approach that men had to music. And I would like to see what he would bring out of me. You know what I mean? In that regard.
I like that. I love that. You never hear people say that. They say, I just think I'm good. But I love that you said that you want to see what he will bring out of you. I love that. And I love that you're even always putting yourself in the learning chair.
Yeah, because that's the only way you grow. I'm out here trying to grow. You know what I mean? So I have to keep learning.
I love it. So I am enjoying, and I will enjoy talking to you again in the future, because
yes,
you're so amazing. And right now you're just making us proud out there. And I'm excited for you and learning your story, hearing about you. It is just one of those things where a lot of times we see, and that's all we do. We don't take the time to get to know, to learn, and, see the process so that we could become better too, and that we could appreciate either our lyricists or our singers, our musicians even more. But I always tell people I love the background. Like I love to get to know the people behind it. I like the engineers and the background singers, because we love our front artists, yes, but without everybody else, their performance will not be that lit. So I need to know what goes on behind the scenes, and that's the type of people I love the most. And I think that's one of the reasons why I fell in love with you. And then, like I said, the first time I met you, you were like so humble, so sweet, and I'm like, I didn't know you could be here and be this humble.
The alternative is not much fun.
Oh.
You know what I mean? It's not much fun. You can get a lot further. One thing my mother has always told me that has stuck with me throughout my whole life, now I tell this to my son, is it does not matter how talented you are if people do not like you. People will choose to work with someone who's less talented, but their personality is more, easier to get with and, be around than somebody who has more talent, but their personality sucks. So I don't want anybody to think that talent is everything in this industry. Talent is a small portion. People want to like you, because one thing about being in these musical work environments is so many times we spend so much time together, we become like family. Like these people, that you're working with are taking the place temporarily of your friends and family. You know, you consider we rehearsing 15, 16 hours a day, you know, you know what I mean? That's a lot of time to be spending with people. So just consider somebody having a funky attitude every day. That's going to make work a lot harder. It's going to make work. And what I can say is, there was a particular gig that I had that changed my life that almost was not mine. The young lady that they hired before me ended up losing the job because they didn't like her. Her personality was awful.
Mm.
So this young lady missed out on a gig of a lifetime because she couldn't get her attitude together. Like, of all the things you can lose a gig for, your personality. You know what I mean? Her mess up was a blessing for me, but I'll tell anybody, don't assume that just because you're amazing that things will just go for you. You have to be very likable as well, and not the fake kind, but just be a genuine, likable, good person, and there will really be no limits to what you can do for real. If people like you, oh, they'll go to bat for you. People will fight for you if they like you.
That is, listen, true words I haven't heard. That is
true.
The truth. I love that. I don't want to say goodbye. I have to say it, you know. I sails away my goodbyes.
We could just say, I will see you later. You know, until next time.
Girl, it was such a pleasure chatting with you today.
Likewise.
And I love you. I know it's weird probably hearing from some random stranger, but I really do. And I admire you, and keep making us proud. It's women like you that make us do what we do, because you see that there is greatness in the world. You see that we can go places. You see that we're amazing, and it makes us happy and kind of keeps us going. So keep doing you.
I will. I love you too. Thank you so much for the time. It was an honor and a joy to spend this time talking and chatting with you. And until next time, my darling.
Bye.
Bye, darling.